and welcome back to Hannah News. This is Hannah News at 7 and I'm Hannah Moreau. All our stories tonight are about gravity. So what is gravity? Gravity is the force between two objects pulling them together. A gravitational pull depends on mass and distance. The less mass an object has and the further away an object is, the weaker the gravitational pull. So here I am with our first news story. Hello, I'm news reporter Hannah Moreau, and right now I'm right outside a zero-gravity trampoline park. I'm here with the news story, Can We Stand on All Planets? In a zero-gravity trampoline park, we will be able to find out if we can stand on all planets. Each room is dedicated to a certain planet that shows the gravitational pull to see if the gravity is strong on that planet or not. So let's go inside and check it out. Currently inside a zero-gravity trampoline park. But before I get onto the trampolines to answer a news story question, can you stand on all planets? I'm going to answer a few other questions first. The first question is, how do planets move through space? Planets move through space in an orbit around a star. The Earth orbits a star, the Sun. Why are they in an orbit? They are in an orbit because of gravity and inertia. The gravity pulls the Sun and Earth together, and inertia keeps the Earth going, which causes an orbit. What is gravity's effect on planets? The gravitational force between a star and planet causes planets to stay in orbit. And one more thing to know before I get on the trampolines is the mass will affect the gravitational pull. So if you are on a planet with less mass, the weaker the gravitational pull. Now I'm going to get on the trampolines in the Mars room to see how much gravitational force Mars has. Mars doesn't have a strong gravitational force because it has less mass than Earth. So it was harder to stand on Mars than it is to stand on Earth. Our next news story is called Too Many Moons. Right now we are going to talk about moons and how gravity affects them. And let's learn about some moons planets have. First, let's go take a look at the moon outside because it is very dark outside. Unfortunately tonight I can't see the moon, or I just can't find it. It is very dark out and you probably can't see anything because it's just very dark. So I will go back inside Hannah News now. I was not able to point out the moon tonight, but let's get back to our news story, Too Many Moons. This is called Too Many Moons because Saturn has 53 confirmed moons and still has 26 waiting. Will Saturn have enough of a gravitational force or gravitational pull to hold up all these moons? We aren't sure, but we are like 95% sure that it will. We will be updating on that later in like 2 years when we find out. But let's get back to moons. Moons are celestial bodies that orbit a planet in space. They move through space by orbiting the planet, and gravity and inertia are also the reasons why moons are in an orbit around planets, just like the way planets are in an orbit around the sun. The gravity pulls them together and the inertia just keeps the moon going around, which causes an orbit. And fun fact, there are over 200 moons in our solar system. And some moons planets have are, Earth just has one moon and its name is Moon. Jupiter also has a few moons, and one is Io, and a fun fact about it, it has erupting volcanoes. Saturn has a moon called Enceladus, and it has geysers with water spraying into space from it. That's an interesting moon. And now it is time for the traffic report. The traffic isn't that bad. For Thanksgiving, it is expected for there to be a lot of traffic heading towards Boston or Cape Cod, but that is for people. But to keep in theme with today's theme, gravity and space, let's check out the traffic for asteroids. This is all the traffic in the asteroid belt. It doesn't seem that bad. I don't know where all the asteroids are going. They look like they're heading around the sun how are they on the road still? That is because gravity is holding them up because asteroids orbit the sun like planets. but our plan is because they're too small and there are many of them. That was today's traffic report, and now it is time for the sports report. Last night, the Comets played the Meteors, and the Meteors won with a score of 15-9. Let's do some science behind the game. This was a soccer game, so whenever a person kicked the ball, it would keep going until another person stopped it. So that is inertia. You've probably heard the word inertia many times tonight on this news story. So what is inertia? Inertia is when an object is moving and doesn't change until another force stops it or pushes it another way. Like if a soccer ball is being kicked. That is what inertia has to do with a soccer game. So that was tonight's sports report. And now let's check out the weather for this week. Come to Zero Gravity Trampoline Park today. It's not really a place. Now it is time for the weather report. This week seems to have okay weather. Still pretty cold because winter is coming, and it is not the best weather, but it's not horrible either. No snow is expected, and it is sunny on some days and then cloudy or rainy the rest. If you're planning on going to the beach this week for, I don't know why, the tides are just normal tides, and there will not be much of a difference in low tides or high tides because it's not a neap tide, which is the least difference in tides, and that occurs at first quarter moon or a third quarter moon. And it is not a spring tide, which is the greatest difference between tides and occurs at a full moon or a new moon. Neither of those are this week, so there's not going to be much of a difference in tides. But let's check out the ocean to see what it's like. Okay, so that's what the ocean looks like down in Cape Cod. And so what do tides have to do with gravity? Tides are caused by the moon's gravitational pull pulling the oceans towards it. So that causes tides. At high tides, the water is deep, and low tides, the water is more shallow. Right now at Hannah News at 7, we were talking all about gravity. But if you want to learn more about gravity, here are some websites you could use. You could use NASA Space Place, nasa.gov, solarsystem.nasa.gov, thoughtco.com, and if you want to play a game, you could use lab.stmf.org, and that is a game about gravity. And if you prefer to use a dictionary, if it is easier for you to understand, you can go to merriam-webster.com. Thanks for watching Hannah News tonight at 7, and see you next time. Bye!